ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna. So today there is no class on Krishna Chakrita purports. Today we have only Prabhupada purport reading. So we will continue. This is the sixth chapter we are discussing. And this chapter is entitled Purushottam Prayers Confirm. We have read the translations. I will just read the translations for first 8 verses and then we'll go for the purports. So here Brahmaji is further answering the questions asked by Narada Muni. Brahmavaja is Vacham Nirmukham Kshetram Chandrasam Saptadhatvaha Haya Kavayamrutana Nam Jihva Sarva Rasascha. He says that the mouth of the Virat Purusha, the universal form of Lord, is the generating center of voice and the controlling deity is fire. His skin and other 6 layers are generating centers of the Vedic mind, and his tongue is the productive center of different footsteps and delicious for offering to the demigods, the forefathers, and the general mass of people. So then he says, Sarva Sunamscha Yo Vayoscha Tannase Pramayane Paramayane Ashvinor Oshadinam Cha Grano Moda Pramodaya. This is his 2 nostrils are a generating center of all breathing and all other airs. His smelling powers generate the Ashwini Kumaras, demigods, and all kinds of medicinal herbs. The breathing energy produces different kinds of fragrance. So from here it starts like first he explains about the mouth of Virat Purusha. The mouth of Virat Purusha, it's a generating center of voice, and then the controlling deity of fire. These are the 2 things from the mouth. Voice and fire is coming, and his skin and other layers are generating centers of hymns. The skin and the tongue is productive center of different footsteps and delicious for offering to the demigods for the general masses. So mouth is for voice and controlling deity of fire, and the skin is 6 layers are generating centers of Vedic hymns. Skin and other 6 layers, I think in the body there are 6 layers, are the generating centers of Vedic hymns, like that. And tongue, delicious foodstuffs. Now when it comes to nostrils, it is generating center of our breathing and different airs, prana, pana, vana, udana. That is Supreme Lord's nostril. These are all talking about his nose, his tongue, his skin. His smelling power generate the Ashwini Kumaras, demigods, and other medicinal herbs. Because he's smelling, there are some medicinal herbs, and his breathing energy produces different kinds of fragrance. So whenever we take fragrance, we should understand that it is Supreme Lord's breathing. That's why we are getting fragrance. And because of his nose, there are different types of airs, and his smelling powers are Ashwini Kumara demigods. So here interesting is everywhere there are demigods. So the controlling deity of fire with voice, and here along with the skin, it is Vedic hymns that are generated and foodstuffs. Here with the nose, there are Ashwini Kumara demigods. And Ashwini Kumaras are also the doctors of the heavenly kingdom. They also need some doctors. That means they also become sick. And then the breathing energy produces different kinds of fragments. Actually, need not that demigods feel sick. These demigods can be in charge of treat medicines, and it is for the living entities on the earth also. Like somebody is sick, if he's praying to Ashwini Kumaras, and they also pray to Sun God for good health because that is energy it gives. But Ashwini Kumaras are also controlling deities for that. So, and then the eyes are generating centers of all kinds of form, and they glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like sun and the heavenly planets. Uh, and his ears from all sides are receptacles, receptacles of all Vedic hymns. We are able to hear, and his sense of hearing is generating center of sky and all kinds of sound. So now here, of course, we can go detail. Detail in the sense means there are three things. One is the uh, what is this ear? It is not only just all sides and receptacles of all Vedic hymns, and there is also sense of hearing which is generating. So there is a sense, the ability to do it, and the corresponding demigods. His bodily surface is the breeding ground for all active principles of everything and for all kinds of auspicious opportunities. His skin is generating center for moving air and all kinds of sense of touch and is a place for performing all kinds of sacrifices. Skin is also generating, if you see the previous, in the first also, the skin is given. So here the skin is six layers are generating center of Vedic hymns. And here again the skin comes. It is generating center for moving air also. There it is Vedic hymns and all kinds of sense of touch and the place of performing all kinds of sacrifices. And then fifth one is his hair on his body is the cause of all vegetation, particularly of those trees which are required as ingredients for sacrifices. So kusha grass and all these aruni and all particularly required for ingredients of sacrifices. They are all even Varahadev when he mm, after he appears, he just after liberating Mother Earth from the lower planets, then he just shakes his body, and from his body the hair falls. That forms as kusha grass. And that's why Varahadev is connected to sacrifices also. He is also the deity of earth. The polished nails of the Lord generate electricity. And the cloud, so here Prabhupada writes, and the cloud rests on the hair of his head. One can therefore collect all sorts of necessity of life from the person of the Lord, and therefore Vedas affirm that everything that is produced is the cause by the Lord. The Lord is the supreme cause of all causes. Bahavo Lokapalanam Prayasaha Kshema Karmanam. He says that the Lord's arms are productive fields for great demigods and other leaders of living entities who protect the general mass. And yeah, Vikarmo Bhura Bhuvaswa cha Kshemasya Sharanasya cha Sarvakama Vipraya Varasyapi Harescharana Aspadam. He says that thus the forward steps of the Lord are the shelter for the upper, lower, and heavenly planets, as well as for all that we need. His lotus feet serve as protection from all kinds of fear. So this we have, right? And then he says that From the Lord's genital originate water, semen, generatives, rain, and the procreators. These genitals are the cause of pleasure that contract the disease of distress of begetting. So this purport we have read. And now there is a different topic. Of course, this is continuing from here. On Narada, the evacuating outlet of the universal form of Lord is the abode of the controlling deity of death, Mitra, and evacuating pole and rectum of Lord is a place of envy, misfortune, death, hell, and etc. So these are also part of the Lord. This is where actually Madhva Sampradaya has a problem. They say Lord cannot, this universe has nothing to do with the Lord. How can there be something like Sri Vaishnavas? They have this understanding, and we also accept it. But for Madhvas, that is difficult. They say two, they are separate, no connection. Sri Vaishnavas, they say no, Lord is having form, and then universal form also they say. We come and we say that yes, there is a form of Lord, universal form, but there is also, it is his separated energy, he's not connected to it. This Achintya Beda Beda Tattva is the special mm, explanation that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand, which Sri Vaishnavas don't know. Even though our philosophy is much very closer to them, but this one point they could not explain. How Lord can have some impurities in him. So this is the point. They say how Lord can have envy, death, hell on him. Lord should be always pure. If you are telling that there is the in this form of Lord there are envy, misfortune, death, hell, and all these negative qualities, that means there must be a mark on Lord, black color. But Lord cannot have anything like that. That is some understanding. But they don't understand is they are there, but they are separated energies of God. In a pure state, all these things are very helpful only. This is another point that envy, anger are there in spiritual world, but they are engaged to give pleasure to Krishna. Like gopis show envy uh, to others, but it is not. It is just to they become angry on Krishna. They draw some sort of jealousy, but it is in a pure spiritual state because it gives pleasure to Krishna. That's why they exhibit that qualities. It is not tamoguda and rajaguda qualities. It is pure spiritual. But when they come to this material world, they become contaminated. Like lust. Spiritual, there is spiritual lust. It is love. But when it comes to the material world, it becomes lust. But it is the same quality, which is a perversion here. So the qualities are there, but it is perverted. Anger, yes, anger is a good energy. Anger is the energy Lord gave us. It has some purpose. We should become angry with our bad qualities. We should become angry with our anarthas. It is helpful. And anger is there in spiritual world. Radharani becomes angry on Krishna. But that is for giving pleasure to Krishna. So the qualities remain, but what happens? They becomes perversion. And then next logos is the back of Lord is a place of all kinds of frustration and ignorance, as well as for immortality. From him veins flow and the great rivers and rivers, and his bones are stacked the great mountains. Now, Prabhupada writes, in order to, like, this is a very interesting understanding when we discuss this. So, when Bali Maharaj he surrendered to Krishna, then he surrendered to Vamandev. Immediately, Vamandev expands. He said, okay, I give you 3 steps of land. His guru is telling no, but Bali Maharaj thought about it. He gave a pause. He said, no, 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 I'll surrender to Krishna. And he surrendered. And what happened? Then Lord Vamana, he expanded. And he expanded and formed. He measured the upper planetary systems with 1 feet and lower planets with another. There is another understanding for this. Because Lord is called Vishwam. This is the first word of the Vishnu Sahasranama. Vishwam means his whole world is Lord only. Now, this realization Bali Maharaj gets because of his surrender. He could see this word Vishwam. That means the whole universal form of Lord was seen by Bali Maharaj, where he is seeing the upper planet systems, Lord's lotus feet, and down is his lotus feet. Then he said yes. So this is actually the point that whatever we are seeing, the universal form can be confirmed to the degree we are surrendered and we practice. If we are doing it, then we will be able to understand this form of the Lord. And Purpose writes, in order to defy the impersonal conception of Supreme Personality of Godhead, a systematic analysis of the psychological and anatomical constitution of his transcendental body is given here. It is clear from the available descriptions of the body of Lord, his universal form, that the form of Lord is distinct from the form of ordinary mundane conception. In any case, he is never a formless void. Ignorance is back of the Lord, and therefore the ignorance of less intelligent class of men is also not separate from his bodily conception. This is very important. Anything is there that is from the Lord only. When I say from ignorance also, yes, it is also a separated energy. Since his body is complete whole of everything that be, one cannot assert that he is impersonal only. On the contrary, a perfect description of Lord holds that is both impersonal and personal simultaneously. The personality of Godhead is the original feature of Lord, and his impersonal emanation is but the reflection of his transcendental body. Those who are fortunate enough to have a view of the Lord from the front can realize his personal feature, whereas those who are frustrated and are thus kept on the ignorant side of the Lord, or in other words, those who have the view of Lord from the back, realize him as impersonal feature. So very nice. On the front, you see, you will get the personal feature. From back, it is ignorance. That's why you'll only see impersonal feature. अव्यक्तरससिद्धानां भूतानां निधनस्य च उद्धरं विदितं पुंसो हृदयं मनस्सः padam. He says that the impersonal feature of Lord is the abode of the great oceans, and his belly is the resting place for the materially annihilated living entities. His heart is the abode of settled material being bodies of the living beings. Thus, he is known by the intelligent class of men. So here, this is all how the universal form, and this is a realization that devotees also will get. By practicing, they understand, yes, yes, these are all parts of the Lord. And in that way, it helps them. They don't continue to remain there, they grow further, but they can see Lord everywhere. That advantage is there. In the Bhagavad Gita, it said that according to human calculation, one day of Brahma is equal to 1000 cycles of 4 millenniums. And that the same period is also calculated to be his night. A Brahma lives for 100 such years and then dies. A Brahma, who is generally a great devotee of Lord, attains liberation after such a downfall. The universe, called the Brahmanda, or the round football-like domain controlled by a Brahma, is thus annihilated, and thus the inhabitants of the particular planet or of the whole universe are also annihilated. So here, Avyakta mentioned here in this verse means that the night of Brahma, when partial annihilation takes place in the living entities of that particular Brahmanda up to the planet of Brahmaloka, along with big oceans, etc., all repose in the belly of the Virat Purusha. At the end of Brahma's night, the creation again takes place, and the living entities reserved within the belly of Lord are also let loose to play their respective parts as being awakened from a deep slumber. So what happens is we all enter into, many of you will go back, come back to Godhead. Otherwise, after the end of the day of Brahma, when he sleeps, all the living entities they stay in the belly of Brahma. Only Janaloka, Maharloka, Taploka, and Satyaloka they remain. Remaining all living entities are happily in the belly of in a hibernate state. Hence, the living entities are never destroyed. The annihilation of the material world does not annihilate the existence of the living entity. But until liberation is attained, one has to accept one material body after another and again and again. The human life is meant for making a solution to this repeated change of bodies and by attaining a place in the spiritual sky where everything is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. In other words, the subtle form of living entities rest within the heart of the Supreme Being, and for such forms take tangible shape at the time of creation. And then next he says that dharmasya mam uppatyam cha kumaranam bhavishya cha vignasya cha sattasya parasyatma parayanam. It says that also the consciousness of that great personalities in the abode of religious principles, mine, yours, Lord Shiva's, and those of the four bachelors, Sanat Kumar, Sanat Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar. That consciousness is also the abode of truth and transcendental knowledge. So here the consciousness of great personalities is the abode of religion. So that is where the religion stays. For Brahma, Shiva, Narada, four Kumaras. Now the question is, when Lord is Sarvajna, how is ignorance part of him? Can Bhagavad Gita 9.5 be taken as answer for this? 9.5. Nachamastani bhutani pashyame yogameshwaram bhuta bhrinna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am maintaining all living entities, although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Yes, so Lord is not part of this cosmic manifestation, but He is source of everything in terms of His energies. Yes. Now the point is that the energies is of the Lord, and that's why Mayam cha Dadapashrayam. Vyasdev sees Maya also and Krishna also, both he sees. But Maya is behind Krishna. That is a shadow of Krishna. If that is another thing, if light is there, there is no darkness. That's why the adharma, the part is behind. And how it is generated? Because the living entities wanted it, that's why it is generated. This material world is creation because of the desire of living entities. That's why these things are manifesting. Even though it is energy of Lord, these all things can be manifested. The shadow of the Lord will transform in this energy is transformed in this way so that it gives facilities for living entities. And Lord is not affected by it. Lord is always in a blissful state. It is Parasya Shakti Vividhai Vashruyate. It is his energy that is actually making this happen. Parasya Shakti. He is completely aloof. Yeah, yeah. Partial annihilation. Then they are in the Virat Purusha's belly. That is what is given here. And Karnatakshay Vishnu, that is at the full annihilation. All living entities from all the universes enter there. This is only for partial annihilation. For full annihilation, I think they are here. That's what is explained by Prabhupada in the purport. They are entering into the, and Virat Rupa is also telling the same things. The belly is a resting place for material annihilated living entities. So this is clear from this. अहं भवान् भवस्य चैव त इमे मुनयो अग्रजा शुश्रूषुरासुरनरा नागा खगा मृगा सरास्पा गन्धर्वाप्सरो यक्ष रक्षो भूता गणा गणो रगा पशवः पितरः सिद्धा विद्याधरश्चारणा द्रुमा अन्ये च विविधा जीवा जलस्थलनभोकसः गहरक्षा कीटवस्तारास् तदितो तदितः सत्नत्यनावः सर्वं पुरुषे ये वेदं भूतां भव्यं भवच यत् तेनेदम् आवृतं विश्वं वितस्तम् अधितिष्ठति. This is beginning from Brahma, me, down to you and Bhava, Lord Shiva. All the great sages who are born before you, the demigods, the demons, the nagas, the human beings, the birds, the beasts, the reptiles, etc., as well as all phenomenal manifestation of universe, namely the planets, stars, asteroids, luminaries, lightnings, and thunder, along with the inhabitants of different planet systems, namely Gandharvas, Apsaras, Ikshas, Rakshasas, Bhutaganas, Urugas, Pashus, Pitas, Siddhas, Vidyadharanas, Charanas, and all other different varieties of living entities, including the birds, beasts, trees, and everything that be, all are covered by the universe form of Lord at all times, namely past, present, future. Although he is transcendental to all of them, eternally exist in a form not exceeding 9 inches. So the Lord, all covered by the universal form of Lord all times, although he is transcendental, not eternally existing. So this is the feature of Paramatma. Now we'll see what Prabhupada read. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his partial representation as the Super Soul, measuring no more than 9 inches, expands by his potent energy in the shape of universal form, which includes everything manifested in different varieties of organic, inorganic material. The manifested varieties of the universe are therefore not different from the Lord, just as golden ornaments of different shapes and forms are non-different from the original stock reserve of gold. In other words, the Lord is the supreme person who controls everything within the creation, and still he remains the same supreme identity distinct from all manifested material creations. In the Bhagavad Gita, he is therefore said to be Yogeshwara. Everything rests on the potency of Sri Krishna, and still the Lord is different from the different form and transcendental to all such identities. And the Vedic Purusha Sukta of the Rig mantra, this is confirmed. This philosophical truth of simultaneously oneness and difference was propounded by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is known as Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. Brahma, Narada, and all others are simultaneously one with the Supreme and different from him. We are all one with him in quality, just as the gold ornaments are one in quality with the stock gold. But the individual gold ornament is never equal in quantity with the stock. The stock gold is never exchanged, even if there are innumerable ornaments emanating from the stock, because the stock is purna. The stock gold is never exhausted, even if there is innumerable ornaments emanating from the stock, because the stock is purna, complete. Even if purna is deducted from the purna, still the supreme purna remains the same purna. This fact is inconceivable to our present imperfect senses. Lord Chaitanya therefore defines his theory as of philosophy of achintya, inconceivable. And as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as in the Bhagavatam, Lord Chaitanya's theory of Achintya Bheda is a perfect philosophy of absolute truth. And this is very important for us to understand this philosophy very clearly. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. That will help us to answer many questions which are not answered in other sampradayas. They try to cover it up because it is not very clear for them why it is like this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it very simple. He said Achitya. You cannot understand. Lord is separate, his energies are separate, but they are connected to him. So in that way, he made it very clear. स्वधिष्ण्यं प्राणो धैश्च प्रतिपत्य असौ एवं विराजं प्रतपमस्तप्य अंतर्बहिः पुमान्. This is the sun illuminates both internally and externally by expanding its radiation. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by expanding his universal form, maintains everything in the creation, both internally and externally. We will treat this nice purport. This universal form of Lord or the impersonal feature. Yeah. The description of universe of the Virat Purusha makes us understand that everything is part and parcel of it. Actually, it is not theory, that realization. That realization is actually makes a person to perform the activity very nicely because he is seeing everything, he's seeing and understanding the cause of all causes, and that will make his life also very easy and simple. The first realization, we all should get this realization. We should get Virat realization. Even though we are doing bhakti, but we will be able to see these connections of all living entities perfectly. That's why Prabhupada is able to write very clearly. And this realization Brahma is having, is giving this realization to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni further. And then Sukadeva Goswami is giving the same realization to Parikshit Maharaj. And when Prabhupada is trying to explain the same thing to us. That means Sukadeva Goswami want us to understand this, want us to realize this. That's why he's explaining. Otherwise, he could have directly told Krishna's 10th canto pastime. Why he's telling? Because this realization is also part of our progress. When we can see everything in connection to Supreme Lord and not get uh, affected by what is happening, it is very helpful in that way. The universal form of Lord or the impersonal feature of the Lord known as Brahmajyoti is clearly explained here and compared to the radiation of the sun. The sunshine may expand all over the universe, but the source of sunshine, namely the sun planet or the deity known as Surya Narayana, is the basis of such radiation. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Krishna, is the base of impersonal Brahmajyoti radiation or the impersonal feature of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So the universal form of Lord is a secondary imagination of impersonal form of Lord, but the primary form of Lord is Shyam Sundara, with two hands playing on his eternal flute. 75% of the expensive radiation of Lord is manifested in the spiritual state. Tripad Vibhuti, and 25% of this personal radiation comprehends the entire expansion of the material universes. Even this 25 and all is also not, we will not be able to understand it. Just roughly it is given. But both are unlimited. Even this 25% is unlimited because they can never end only. How can we say 25% of unlimited? It is also unlimited only because 25% of unlimited is always unlimited. You cannot have because it is infinite. But it's giving an idea. If something has limit, you can have 25%. If you have mathematics, how can we calculate 25% of even 1% of infinity is infinity only because you don't know where it will end. So if a big ocean is there, 25% means you can take some water out of it. So this is the but it is unlimited. Where is 25%? So this is also explained and stated in Bhagavad Gita. Thus, the 75% expansion is radiation is called internal energy, whereas 25% expansion is called is external energy of Lord. The living entities who are residents of the spiritual or as well as the material expansions are its marginal energy. That is the section. And they are at liberty to live in either of the energies, external or internal. Those who live within the spiritual expansion of the Lord are called liberated souls, whereas the residents of the external expansions are called the conditioned souls. We can just make an estimate of the number of the residents of internal expansions in comparison to number of residents in the external energy and may easily conclude that the liberated souls are far more numerous than the conditioned souls. But both are unlimited. See, now Lord is liberating the living entities from unlimited time. Still, the living entities are there. What is the point? What I was telling is infinity. The question is like unlimited means you cannot have any percentage of it. 1% of unlimited is how much? That is also unlimited. So when you say three-fourth is Lord's energy and one-fourth is material energy, both are unlimited. 25% is of unlimited is unlimited. 75% of unlimited is also unlimited. So Lord's energies are unlimited. We cannot measure. Just to give an idea that what is you cannot have only na. Both are unlimited. How can there be percentage? Like if you have ocean, then you have a boundary for it. Then you can say yes, yes. 25% of water I can take. But you don't have boundary also. If I say 25%, but there is no boundary, how can you cut 25% from it? So spiritual energy is also unlimited, material is also unlimited. Where is the question of percentage then? So this is to give an idea that it is more. That is the point. Question is, I had this question from Srimad where it is talked about the percentage. This is this look only na Prabhupada is telling in the purport. There's the 75% expansion. Actually, Tripad Vibhuti is what is the word that is used for the spiritual sky. Three path, that means two-thirds is in the spiritual sky. That's what it is said. But two-thirds of unlimited is unlimited. One-third of unlimited is also unlimited only. That is the point. One-fourth is unlimited. That is the point. That both are unlimited. So where is the question of and another thing is Lord is liberating living entities. See, from time immemorial, Lord is coming, performing his pastimes, and taking living entity to spiritual world. Right? That means at some point the living entity should get exhausted. You are digging, 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 and after some time, everything will be over. There is nothing remaining. But you still see that there are living entities. What does it mean? It means that eternally the living entities will be here, unlimited. And eternally this pastime of Lord coming and liberating will also happen. Because the living entities are unlimited. Lord have to come every time. He liberates, take to spiritual world. Spiritual world is filling. It is also expanding. But that does not mean the living entities in the material world will get exhausted. It will never get exhausted. That is the point. So Lord can have this Leela also. What is this Leela? He has Leela Shakti, where he is doing Leela in the spiritual world, and is having Karuna Shakti, where he comes and liberates the living entities. So Lord always have this desire that I should liberate, and he will always fulfill that because unlimited living entities are there. They never get exhausted. That is the point. Of course, it is little, uh, but no problem. Sometime all living entities will go, but still living entities will here. It will never get empty. Hope you understood the point. Lord's Leela for liberating never ends. No question. Even the material energies is eternal, which means someone has to do something with. Which means someone has to do something. Ah, yes. Because living entities will always remain in this metal. No matter how much Lord is liberating, they will never get exhausted. It is also his energy. That energy will also remain eternal. And his Leela of liberating will also remain eternal. There will be living entities in this metal like that. And the devotees from the spiritual sky, they also, the living entities from spiritual sky will come and they also perform their pastime of liberating the living entities in assisting the Lord in that liberation, and they also go back. So this always happens. All this system is eternally happening. And maybe we go to spiritual world, we'll also come and we'll also assist the Lord in this other living entities like that. The Supreme Personality of God is the controller of immortality and fearlessness, and He is the transcendental to death and the fruitive actions of the material world. O Narada, O Brahma, O Brahmana, it is therefore difficult to measure the glories of Supreme Personality. We told every from second canto onwards, every canto Brahma will have prayers. The glories of Lord in the transcendental glories of Lord. In the Transcendental, 75% of Lord's internal potency are stated in the Padma Purana, Uttarakhand. It is said that there are a number of planets in the spiritual sky which comprises the 75% expansion of internal potency of the Lord is far, far greater than the number of planets in the total universe composed of the external potency of the Lord. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the total universes in the is the eternal potency of the Lord are compared to a bucket full of mustard seeds. One mustard seed is calculated to be a universe itself. In one of the universe in which we are now living, the number of planets cannot be counted by human energy, and so how can we think of sum total of all universes which are compared to a bucket full of mustard seeds? And the number of planets in the spiritual sky is at least three times the number of those in the material sky. Such planets, being spiritual, are in fact transcendental to material modes. Therefore, they are constituted in mode of unalloyed. So here now logic won't work. With logic, we cannot understand what is two-thirds and one-third of the infinite. It is not possible. But one thing we can appreciate that Lord is such a great person. Unlimited universes he's maintaining. That is what should be inspiring to us. How is this person, not only our universe, which is very small, is taking care of unlimited universes also, and still he is ready to come to your house in the form of deity, and we can go to temple and he can reciprocate with us. And who is the master of unlimited universe? Such a great personality, and still he is accessible. That is speciality of Krishna, and he is reciprocating, and he has full time for devotees wherever they are. And it is not that he is in hurry. Wait a minute, so many universes I have to maintain, and in spiritual also so much is there, and I have to take care of everything. How much time I can give? No, Lord does not feel like that. He says all time for you. That is his Achintya Shakti. The conception of spiritual bliss, Brahmananda, is fully present in those planets. Each of them is eternal, indestructible, and free from all kinds of impurities experienced in the material world. Each of them is self illuminating and more powerfully dazzling than if we can imagine the total sunshine of the millions of mundane suns. The inhabitants of those planets are liberated from birth, death, old age, and disease, and have full knowledge of everything. Prabhupada is writing because he's coming from there. So he's telling what is in the spiritual world. They are all godly and free from all sorts of material hankering. They have nothing to do except to render transcendental loving service to Supreme Lord Narayana. who is predominating deity of such Vaikuntha planets. Those liberated souls are engaged incessantly in the singing of the songs of Samaveda, Veda, Sangha, Padma. Kramopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samaga. All of them are personification of five Upanishads. I don't know what does it mean. Tripad Vibhuti, the 75% known as the internal potency of the Lord, is to be understood as the kingdom of God far beyond the material sky. And when we speak of Ekapad Vibhuti, 25% comparing his eternal energy, we should understand that this refers to the sphere of material world. It is also said in Padma Puran that the knowledge of Tripad Vibhuti is transcendental, whereas the Ekpad Vibhuti is mundane. Tripad Vibhuti is eternal, whereas Ekpad Vibhuti is transient. Actually, one way we can say it is limiting because it can enter into the body of Mahavishnu. Yes, this is a this is makes some difference. That say Mahavishnu is lying, but he can take all the unlimited energy into his body, which does not happen to the spiritual world. So if something has unlimited, it can fit in the limited form. Form is limited. It can fit in the form of Mahavishnu. But whereas spiritual sky cannot fit, it will never annihilate it. It is unlimited. It cannot fit in anything. But the material world, even though it is unlimited means okay. How can it fit into a limited form? This is the achintya understand achintya shakti of the Lord. If say okay, if there are 1,000 liters, it should fit in the body of Lord. Okay, we say okay, it is limited. So if Lord is say 1 lakh yojanas long, and then he can take a glass of water can fit in our body, right? Because it is limited. We can anything limited it can fit. You can have plate of rice and you can have plate of something which can fit in us. Now, if it is unlimited, how can it fit? We cannot even drink a big bucket of water also. What to speak of a big ocean or anything. That means unlimited cannot fit inside. But the unlimited energies, unlimited means it cannot measure, but it can be counted into Mahavishnu's body. That is the speciality. It is achintya. We cannot understand. That means logic don't work there. We cannot use our logic to understand. How is it possible? The question is it is like a story where Brahma was having faith that Lord can pass. Yeah, Brahmana has the cobbler has faith. Brahmana could not have faith. Brahmana did not believe that the Lord is putting the elephant through a needle hole. Yeah. More than that is how come these universes are unlimited, have they can come into one small limited form. Unlimited means it is always expand, it is always expanding only in one way, but it can fit into the body. The Lord and his eternal associates, eternal servitors in the transcendental kingdom, all have eternal forms which are auspicious, infallible, spiritual, and eternally joyful. In other words, there is no birth, death, old age, and disease. This eternal land is full of transcendental enjoyment and full of beauties and bliss. This very fact is corroborated in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. The transcendental nature is described as Amrita, as described in the Vedas. Uta Swashenaha. The Supreme Lord is a Lord of immortality, or in other words, the Lord is immortal, and because He is the Lord of immortality, He can award immortality to His devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord assures that whoever may go to His abode of immortality shall never return to His mortal land and their threefold miseries. The Lord is not like a mundane Lord. The mundane master of the Lord never allows his subordinates to enjoy equally with him, nor is the mundane Lord immortal, nor can he award immortality to his subordinates. The Supreme Lord, so these demigods also cannot do. They cannot award immortality to their devotees. The Supreme Lord, who is the leader of all living entities, can award all qualities of his personality unto his devotees, including immortality and spiritual bliss. In the metal world, there is always anxiety of fearfulness in the hearts of all living entities. But the Lord, being himself the supreme fearless, also awards the same quality of fearlessness to his devotees. Prabhupada writes, the mundane existence in itself kind of fear because in all mundane bodies the effect of birth, death, old age and disease always keep a living being compact in fear. In the mundane world, there is always the influence of time which changes things from one stage to another, and the living entities originally called avikara or unchangeable suffers a great deal or account of changes due to the influence of time. The changing effects of eternal time are conspicuously absent in the immortal kingdom of God, which should therefore be understood to have an influence of time and therefore no fear whatsoever. So this is also a nice purport. Next one. In the material world, so-called happiness is result of one's own work. One cannot become a rich man by dint of one's own hard labor. Sorry, one can become rich man by dint of one's own hard labor, and there are always fear and doubts as to the duration of such acquired happiness. But in the kingdom of God, no one has to endeavor to attain a standard of happiness. Happiness is natural nature of the spirit, as stated in Vedanta Sutra. So, what point Prabhupada is telling is, say here our happiness is depending on our hard work. Say we become rich, we get some opulences, senses can be satisfied. When we work hard, we can become rich. Even when we become rich, can we enjoy completely? No. Why? Because there is a fear and there are doubts how long this enjoyment will be there. But when it comes to spiritual world, you need not work hard to get this. First is in the spiritual kingdom, no one has to endeavor to attain such standard happiness. And happiness is the nature of the spirit as stated in the Vedanta Sutra Anandamaya. The spirit is by nature full of happiness. Happiness in the spiritual nature always increases in volume with a new phase of appreciation. There is no question of decreasing the bliss. Such unalloyed spiritual bliss is nowhere to be found within the orbit of material universe, including the Janaloka, or for that matter, the Mahaloka or the Satyaloka planets, because even Lord Brahma is subjected to the laws of fruitive actions and the laws of birth and death. It is therefore stated here, Duratyaha, or in other words, the spiritual happiness is the uh, eternal kingdom of what cannot be imagined even by the great brahmacharis or sannyasis who are eligible to be promoted to the planets beyond the region of heaven. Even they also cannot understand. That is the point. Or the greatness of Supreme Lord is so great that the happiness in his kingdom cannot be imagined even by the great brahmachari and sannyasis. We cannot imagine only. But such happiness is actually attained by unalloyed devotees by his grace. पादेषु प्रभूतानि पुंसां स्थितिपदो विभुः अमृतं क्षेमम् अभ्ययम् त्रिमृधनो अधिमोदसु. It says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is to be known as the supreme reservoir of all material opulences, which consists the one-fourth of his energy in which all the conditioned living exist eternally, sorry, entities exist. Deathlessness, fearlessness, and freedom from the anxieties of old age and disease exist in the kingdom of God. Which is beyond the, sorry, deathlessness, fearlessness, and freedom from anxiety of old age and disease exist here. And freedom from the anxieties of old age and disease exists in the kingdom, which is beyond the three higher planet systems and beyond the material coverings. We just do this one purport and then we'll end. Out of total manifestation of the Sandhini energy of the Lord, one-fourth is displayed in the material world and three-fourths are displayed in the spiritual world. The Lord's energy is divided into three components, namely Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini. In other words, he is the full manifestation of the existence of knowledge, knowledge, and bliss. In the material world, such a sense of existence, knowledge, and pleasure is meagerly exhibited. All living entities who are minute part and parcel of Lord are eligible to relish such consciousness of existence, knowledge, and bliss very minutely in the liberated state, whereas in the conditional stage of material existence, they can hardly appreciate what is the factual, existential, cognizable, and pure happiness of life. The liberated souls who exist is far greater numerical strength than the souls in the material world can factually experience the potency of the above mentioned Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini energies of Lord in the matter of deathlessness, fearlessness, and freedom of old age and disease. So here how it happens is Sandhini gives the bodies of living entities. All the matter we are seeing is Sandhini. And Samvit is the knowledge part. Now I am there, I know I exist, but what I am doing, I am trying to acquire knowledge. All living entities try to acquire knowledge. That part is sattva, and that is what is the supreme Krishna's energy, that is samvit. And the desire to enjoy here, that is the manifestation of Ladini Shakti. We have these three things. We have a body, we have mind, and we have desire. We have body, we acquire knowledge, and then we have emotions like that. So these three things are what even a spiritual sky also Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini, and when it comes to material world, it becomes like that. Sandhini is the Tamoguna, Samvit is Sattoguna, Ladini is Rajoguna. So it manifests as three modes. And in the material world, the planetary systems are arranged in three phases called Triloka or Swarga, Vritya, and Patal. And all of them constitute only one-fourth of the total Sandhini energy. Beyond that is the spiritual sky where Vaikuntha planets exist beyond the covering of seven materials start starta. In the none of the Triloka planet systems can one experience the status of immortality, full knowledge and full bliss. The upper three planet systems are called Satvika planets because they provide facilities for long duration of life and relative freedom from old age and disease, as well as sense of fearlessness. The great sages and saints are promoted beyond the heavenly planets to Maharloka, but that also is not the place of complete fearlessness because at the end of one kalpa, Maharloka is annihilated and the inhabitants have to transport themselves to still higher planets. Yet, even on those planets, no one is immune to death. There may be comparative existence of life, expansion of knowledge, and sense of full bliss, but factual, deathless fearlessness, and freedom from old age, disease, etc., are possible only beyond the spherical material covering of the material sky. Such things are stated on the such things are situated on the head. Adhyatma, adhiya mudrishu. Okay, we will end here. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you all very much. This is half, more than half is. Question is means to say that mind is connected to the Ladini, Buddhi is connected to Samvit, body is Sandhini. Yes, correct. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.